Hello everyone, I am Preet Kamal and I am a lecturer at Meherchand Polytechnic College, Jalandhar. Today I will be going to discuss with you all about the subject of electronics third semester, that is computer programming using C language. But before starting our subject and with the details, I would like to share an important information with you all, that is about the Mission Fateh, that is a campaign run by our worthy Chief Minister of Punjab, Captain Amrinder Singh. He has said that during this pandemic situation of COVID-19, we have to take some kind of precautions so that it should be a very easy situation for us to handle. If we will take care of some small things like washing our hands regularly, using sanitizers, using masks and social distancing. If we will do the social distancing, then definitely it will become very easy for us to come out of this pandemic and this situation. So this was all about this information. Now let's move on to the topic, computer programming using C. First of all, I would like to tell you about the basic of this particular subject. In this subject, we will study about the C language, the computer language, that is the basic language in which coding is done. Coding is basically a language, or we can say a software with which we can connect the hardware and the software of a computer. As we all know that computer is a machine and it is used for variety of operations, multiple of operations to be performed. Maybe logical operations, maybe arithmetic operations, or like that many kind of operations could be performed with the help of a computer. But a computer, whatever we see, is basically a hardware system. The monitor, the keyboard, the mouse, the CPU, all the things that are being attached with the computer system, that makes a computer system, and the things, the systems we can touch, they are basically called as hardware. But on the other side, the computer system cannot work. It is just like a box if there will not be any kind of softwares in it. So software is a virtual concept. It is not physically present. We cannot touch it, but we can feel it. That means whenever the software is being installed inside the computer, then only the computer will work as it works nowadays. That means a computer is a combination of hardware as well as software. If it will only be a hardware, it will not work at all. If it will only be a software and no hardware to operate upon it, it will be of no use. So a combination of the both makes a computer and makes it a useful machine for us to work and to operate upon according to our requirement. Now let's move on. About the software, if I will talk, then we are having three types of softwares. First one is system software. Second one is our application software. And third one is utility software. What does that mean is that when we talk about the system software, it means we are nothing to do with that. Whenever we purchase a computer or a laptop, then the inbuilt, by default, the system has been installed in that particular computer. That are basically called as the system software that are by default installed in that. There is that the user is not to do anything with the system software, he is not to install anything related to that. Then we have to work with the application and the utility softwares. Now what do you mean by application software is, application software means the software related to some particular applications if we need to install it in our computer. For example, if we need to work on the Word file, or the Excel sheet or the PowerPoint presentations we have to make, then we will install according MS Office or MS Microsoft Word or MS Microsoft Excel or like that kind of some softwares which are called as the application software. Or for example, if a computer system is being working in a bank, then they need some accounting software for that to work upon, right? Then that is called as the application software. Then last one is the utility software. The utility softwares are some small kind of softwares which help us in some supporting tasks. If we are not about to use the application software, instead of application software, when along with that some printing hardware modules if we need, right? So some or virus scanner is required in our system as internet is being utilized. So sometimes there are some files on the internet which are not of our use or which can harm our computer. Then at that time some utilization software, some utility softwares like virus scanner or printer handling modules or like that could be installed in the system, right? So these are the basic softwares that we will use in our computer system. Then let us now discuss about the subject name, that is computer programming using C language. Now what do you mean by programming? If we need to understand what a programmer is, then we have to understand first what a program is. Computer, we all know computer programming. Programming means program karna. So a program, what do you mean by program here? Program here means the set of instructions. Anything that is being combined in such a way so that a particular task could be performed. So a list of a set of instructions set in such a way so that any specific kind of a task could be performed. That is basically called as a program. If we will talk about the basic definition of a program, so we can say that a program is an ordered set of interrelated or logically related instructions. I will repeat. The definition of a program is an ordered set of logically related instructions that are being put together to perform a specific task. This is basically called as a program. So I hope you all are clear with this. So now who is the programmer? Programmer means a person or a user or the person who is dealing with the computer system and who is making that particular program, who is developing that particular program, that is a set of instructions, who is writing those instructions, who is coding in that thing. That person is called as a programmer, right? So we are clear with program and the programmer. Now let us move towards the main topic of our syllabus, that is steps in development of a program. That whenever we need to develop a program, then what are the steps to be followed? These are some steps. The main steps are these 1, 2, 3 and 4. These 4 steps are the main steps without which program could not be developed. Next, these steps which are written in the dotted lines. These steps are optional steps. We can use them if we need, and if we do not need them, we can skip also. So let's start with the first thing, that is requirement analysis. The first step in development of a program is requirement analysis. What does the name signifies? Its name says requirement and the second word says analysis. It means what is the requirement of the user or the programmer or the person who wants to develop a program. What is its requirement? What is to be done? The analysis of that requirement is basically done in the first step. If we need to develop a program, then first of all we have to analyze that what is our requirement, what do we want to do. Number one means the basic points, what is to be done, how it will be done, what will be the inputs and the outputs, and what are the resource limitations and boundaries. Means first of all we need to find out these four things: what is to be done, how it is to be done, what should be the inputs and outputs, and what are the limitations or boundaries that we will have to face whenever we need to make a program or develop a program. So this is the first thing. In the first step we will do all these things. What is to be done, which kind of a program is to be made, what will be the requirement of the inputs and outputs that will be required for this, what are the limitations, do we have the appropriate system for applying that particular program, or do we have some kind of a machine on which we will run that program. So these are some kind of requirement analysis that we have to analyze, that what is to be done. Then in the second part is designing. Now what do you mean by designing is a working model. We have to make a working model. In this a design is to be developed. A design is to be made. That what is the contents, what should be the contents and look of the user interface, what will be the format of the inputs and outputs that are being used, then how the calculations will be done. For example, if we need to sum two numbers, then what do we need? We need one input? No, we need two inputs. Why? If we need to sum two numbers, then at least two numbers should be there, two inputs should be there. Then we need two inputs and one output. So there should be three variables with us. Then another thing, that if we know that we have to add two numbers and one number should be there with which we will get the output. But the format of that, what should be the format of those inputs and outputs? Will it be alphanumeric? Will it be alphabets? Will it be numerals? Will it be special characters? What is the requirement? What do we need for the designing purpose? That means how the things will happen. We have to make a format, a design for that thing. That is basically called as designing. In this, algorithms and flowcharts are being made in this designing kind of a step. Algorithms and flowcharts are being made, but algorithms and flowcharts we will discuss it in the next lecture about this. Then I hope you all are clear about the requirement analysis and the design. In the requirement analysis, we will analyze that what will be done, how it will be done, how much number of inputs and outputs are required, what are the limitations. Then in the designing step, we will discuss about that how the contents will look, what will be the format of the inputs and outputs, how the algorithm will be designed, how the calculations will be performed, how these all things will happen, how the data will be stored into the computer. That is all in the design part. Then the next, the main step, that is the coding. Coding means the programming, that whenever we need to develop a program, then first of all we have made a list. Then out of that list we have extracted the basic, the main information on which we have to work upon, for which we have to make a design. Then whenever we have made that design, that plot in our mind or on a piece of paper, then after that, this step, the most important step, that is the coding. That means to translate that designing which we have done on our language, in our language, that we have to change or convert it into a language that is understandable by the computer system, because the computer system do not understand our English language or Hindi or Punjabi or whatever we speak. It does not understand any of the language. It just understands a language that is zeros and ones. That is the machine language, the low level language that a computer system understands. We will discuss this concept of machine language in the later lectures. But here we should be clear that in our minds that computer system and a human being, they are not interactive if this coding system will not be there. They cannot interact with each other because the language both of them are using is different. For example, I am a Punjabi and another person is a Spanish person. If I will say him anything in Punjabi, he will be unable to understand. And if I don't know Spanish, if he will say me anything in Spanish, then I will also not be able to understand what he is conveying. So there will be a communication gap, and we need a translator in between who will convert my language to his and his language to mine. Similarly, this coding is that kind of a technique which we will use for the translation purpose, for the communication purpose, so that we should write in a language we know and it will change it into the language that is being utilized by the computer. Then in coding language, we will write the codes. We will write the program. We will write the set of instructions in our language, and inside the program, it will convert it into the language that is understandable by the computer system. Then next step, after the coding, after we have done with the coding, after we have done with the programming, after we have completed the information that we need to perform, the task we have to perform, we are done with that instructions. Then after testing and debugging, this is also an important part. Why is? Because as the name suggests, testing and debugging, it means that we have to test or check the program that is being made. How this will be checked is with the help of 3 types of errors, that there should not be any kind of errors in between. The first type of error is syntax errors. Now what do you mean by syntax error is? Syntax error means whenever we write the coding, then there are some rules that we have to follow. If there will be any error in the program in relation to the rules that we have not followed, for example, if the rule is that we cannot use the say uppercase letters in case of a variable name, or we cannot use some kind of special characters in case of a variable name, or the variable name should not be started with a numerical value or a special character, it should not get started with that, then these are some rules that we have to follow. But if we will not follow them, then the computer will show, while executing the program, the computer will show an error, and that is called as a syntax error. Syntax error means whenever we will not follow the rules that for developing of the program, for the writing the coding. Then the second type of errors is runtime errors. Runtime error means whenever we enter an invalid data during running of the program. That means we have there is no syntax error. Our program is okay. We need to run that program on our computer system. But when the system is asking for a numeric value and we are entering an alphabet, or the system needs an alphabet or some word, but we are entering any numeric value or alphanumeric characters, then there will not be a desired or satisfied output that we need. In that case, there will be runtime error. That while running the program, it could not perform, or it could not execute exactly or properly or in the way we wanted, because of the reason was there was a runtime error, or the data we provided was not appropriate. Then the third type of errors are logical errors. Now, logical error means whenever we have some problem in the logic. That means whatever we need to develop, we could not make it. We could not understand the logic of that, and accordingly we made the program. The program was made, there was no syntax error, we followed all the rules, but the thing, we will not get the satisfied output, or the program will not execute itself because of the logic of the things was not okay. There was a logical error, or the things we have to mention above, we have mentioned them below or in the program, or the things we have to mention below, we have mentioned them above, or something like this kind of a error if happens, or when the algorithm is chosen mistakenly or not in a proper way that we need, so the execution will not be performed. So these kind of errors are called as logical errors. So these all things will happen in case of testing and debugging. It means testing the program we have made and then debugging it. Debugging means to finding out the errors in between and then after correcting those things. If we will have any syntax error, logical or runtime error, if the computer screen will show that this is the error that we are having with your program, so correct it and execute it again, and then it will happen. If we will correct those errors, then definitely our program will run. So last is the implementation and maintenance. I hope you are clear with the main steps to development of a program. Now the last two steps, implementation and maintenance, they are not so much important, or they are optional. That is why I have made them in a dotted boxes. So it means, implementation means to install the program. In the implementation phase, we will install the program into the target location. Whatever the program we have made, we will install that program in that target location, or if we have made a program for some particular machine to work or some particular device to work upon. For example, we have made a calculator, a program for a calculator, and we have made some instructions that if we will do plus, then this will happen. If we will do minus, then this will happen. All these things we have made a calculator, and then we have a machine. That is, we have a small calculator, and the program is not installed in that. We install that program in that particular machine that is called, the name as calculator, that is our hardware device, and we install our program into that, and then how to work, how is it working, if we are checking, then that is basically called as the implementation. And then after maintenance, so we were talking about the maintenance phase. So in the maintenance phase, we update the software according to the requirement of the real world. That as the technology changes, what we do, we change our telephones, we change our mobile phones. Initially there were button mobile phones were there. Then after, the smart touch mobile phones came into existence. Now the smartphones. Then if we talk about the screens, TV screens, then initially there were very big, large, bulky TV screens were used, then they changed to the LCD screens, now LEDs and smart TVs. So according to the technology, we have to maintain our programming software so that the ongoing process should move on, and we should move on with the technology. So this is all about how a program is being developed. So I will give you a quick review. Requirement analysis, that is, we have to find what is to be done, how it is to be done. In the designing phase, we have to design, we have to check what kind of formats of input and output are being utilized, then what kind of data is to be stored in that particular program. Then we have to make a list, we have to make the design that how the program will be done. The next step is the coding. Coding means what we have to do, we need to convert it into a language that is understandable by the computer system. Then after in the testing and debugging, whatever the program we have made, we have to execute it so that we can check whether the program is working or not, whether it is in running condition, whether it is executing or not. Then we have to test and debug for any kind of errors if there are any in our program that we have made. And then after implement it into a particular device or for the target device for which we have made that program. And then after, to maintain the software or to maintain the system as according to the change in the scenario in the real world, according to the technology changes. So this was all about this first lecture of CPUC, that is computer programming using C. So we'll meet in the next lecture. Thank you.